Hello and welcome to the October 2025 edition of the Redwood Real Estate Report. As usual, I'm Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans.
And as always, I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
I'm also always Ben with Larson Home Loans, but I also am usually Ben with Larson Home Loans. Those of you who are on Reddit a lot might get that joke. We're coming to you in Humboldt County, California, the Gross Building, downtown Eureka. And here we are once again in the month of October. This year is flying by. We were just talking about that. You can catch the podcast on YouTube and Podbean. Hopefully, coming to iTunes soon, as we have been for 8 months in a row.
I'm working on it.
We'll also post links on our social media accounts. It's pretty easy to find us. Check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Get all our latest content. And this month we'll be covering kind of what happened in September in both the local real estate market on the mortgage side, the real estate side, and give you guys an idea of the current market status for our local area.
Yeah, and then I really would like it if you would start off this month because there's been a lot of talk around interest rates, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, it's no problem. Let's get right into it. I'll go first. And as we all know, the Fed lowered rates for the first time since December of 2024, 0.25%. And as we get into a rate comparison month over month, we'll see that the average interest rate for the month of September is 0.24%, so just about a quarter lower than August. So let's get right into it. Before I get into the interest rates, though, I'm going to hit some guideline updates for us. During the government shutdown, particular, another kind of hot topic going around, the government shutdown, how's that going to affect government employees? And they've done a few things, such as waiving the requirement that your pay stubs are within the last 30 days. So you can go back to whatever your most recent 30 days are. It could be 60 days ago, it could, whatever that is, and you can still qualify and get approved for a loan. We also, which applies to every loan that's done through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, FHA, USDA, all the traditional lines, we don't have to get the tax transcripts in the loan file prior to closing. We have to submit the request. So we still have to do the form, submit it, but we don't have to wait for that for closing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to close a loan if the IRS is not there to respond, right? So those employees are furloughed. So we get to skip that requirement for the time being until that's back up and running. There's potentially going to be a backlog of those requests, so it could slow down things once Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac start requiring that again. But hopefully the IRS puts something in place where they can respond quickly to those that are backed up. All right, now on to the main event, interest rates for the month of September. Like I mentioned, they have gone down 0.25%. The low for the month of September was on September 18th, and we had 26%. We were down to just over 2.25%. That's a pretty dramatic decrease from what we were seeing, say, like a year ago. We're, probably 7.25%, something like that, even 7 3/8 we were seeing. And that's on, of course, primary residence, single family homes, a 30-year mortgage. The low for the month of August came in at 6.56, so it's, about 0.3% higher. The high for the month of September was 6.5, and the high for the month of August was 6.63. So with those two, highs and lows in mind, yeah, we're about 0.25% lower throughout the month of September than we were in the month of August. So overall, it's a good sign. And again, you're seeing the highs in the beginning of the month, typically the first week, and then it kind of gets lower as the month goes on. And if you look at rates, where rates are at today, we're right about where they were at the end of September. So we pretty much held in October to those lower rates. So that's all a good sign for real estate and activity, mortgage applications, sales, refinances, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so can I ask you to get out your crystal ball because it sounds pretty promising that the feds are going to cut their rates again.
Right.
Now, is that going to impact mortgage rates?
It certainly has an impact, but what'll happen is just more of a slow, steady decline up, like probably through the next Fed announcement, because it's expected to happen.
Hmm.
So lenders are going to build that in starting now.
Right.
So you don't see an immediate drop when the Fed lowers the rates, because technically you've already been getting those rates probably 2 to 3 or even 4 weeks before that rate drop happens,
Hmm.
because loans that are closed and funded today are typically sold 30, 60 days out from that funding. So they do a good job of passing those savings on as early as possible to be competitive in the marketplace. They don't do that out of the goodness of their heart. They do it because their competitors are doing it, so it drives the market down. So that's a good thing. So yes, it will have an impact. It already is having an impact. So more slow and steady rate declines throughout the year is probably what we can expect. 1/4% a month would be great.
That sounds good to me.
We can get these back down into the fives. We're approaching that territory where if you closed a loan in the last 2 years and you were in the high sixes to mid or even high sevens, it's time to consider refinancing. If depending on your loan amount, but it's getting to that territory where the refinances are going to really start picking up.
Well, and a lot of folks have held off on even selling their home because they have that great interest rate. So as interest rates lower, that could mean that more folks are willing to put their home on the market and see about replacing their property with something that's a better fit for them in this next chapter.
Absolutely. It frees up uh, the equity that's in your home. It frees up, a lot of things, allows people just more options in what they want to do, whether you're a move up buyer, whether you're looking at buying investment properties, or also with the lower rates, it increases your purchase power. So you can maybe bump your offers up a little bit. We'll see values correlate to that, but overall, it's a good thing. It speaks to a stronger market moving forward. So, well, those are the only two I pulled because I wanted to talk for a while about interest rates. But so, Annalise, what do you have for us this month?
Okay, well, just a few interesting notes on the Humboldt real estate for the month of September. Um, Median list price compared with last September, so this is just September to September, it was completely flat. So median sale price was 450,000 in September of last year, and it was 450,000 this September. But the median sold price, so 450 is the median list price, median sold price is up 7.25% compared with last September. So meanwhile, the year-to-date figures show a completely flat median list price and a flat median sales price as well. So if October is bearing out the same trends as September did, we may actually see the median year-to-date price take over last year's for the first time since May of this year, because we've been kind of lagging there. Prices have been dropping, 1% a month or so, relatively flat. But if October is as strong as September was in median sale price, that could change. Despite that, the absorption rate is still indicating weakening demand, which is kind of contrary to what we would expect, right? With an upward trend in prices, you would think prices are going up and expect that demand was also higher. And there is demand. Total sold listings were up compared with last September and up year to date over 10%. But again, as has been typical with most months this year, active and new listings are outpacing the sold listings. So a couple key takeaways. If you're a seller in this market, the competition is real. Do what you can to make your house stand out. It's curb appeal and condition paired with a realistic pricing strategy. It's going to make all the difference. Buyers are out there. They're just waiting for the right opportunity, and they're also making pretty aggressive offers. So as a seller, you want to be prepared to discuss some possible concessions ahead of time with your realtor. It could mean offering a home warranty or offering a seller's credit to help buy down an interest rate for the buyer or cover some of the buyer's closing costs. And um, be prepared to offer specific repairs. Get creative and don't get stuck on the price. Homes are selling for about 8% below original list price on average, and buyers know this. So that doesn't mean that you should overprice your home and hope a buyer makes an offer. days on the market are the enemy. So they've got a lot of options. You want to work with your realtor to help price and prepare your home in a way that's going to attract an offer quickly. So moving on, as for our local cities, Eureka had a strong September compared with last. Median sale prices are up over 16%, but flat year to date, with the median days on the market up 60% to 27 days. Arcata median sale price is down 5% year to date, and days on the market doubled compared with that of last year, up to 26 days, so pretty close to Eureka. And the sold to list ratio in Arcata, this surprised me, it's just 89.5%.
Wow.
So sellers are overpricing their home in that market, and they're having to come down and make concessions to buyers on price. Up in McKinleyville, average days on the market jumped to the highest it's been all year to 74 in September. But median sold prices are up 1.5% for the year, and the absorption rate is 3.65. So it's still a seller's market up there. Fortuna's been really shining this year. It's consistently outperforming the other local markets. And September was no exception. Median sold prices are up, days on the market are down, absorption rate is down. That's one of the only major markets with the absorption rate down as well. So way to go, Fortuna. And now for September's market share comparison. Humboldt had a total of 108 sales in the month of September, with a median sale price of $453,000. Eureka had 28 sales, which is about 26% of the market share, and had a median sale price of $470,000. Next, we have Fortuna with 14 sales, 13% at $465,000. So Fortuna's really jumped up in market share this month. Usually it's closer to the bottom of the top 5. McKinleyville had 13 sales, 12% of the market, and median price of $482,400. And finally, Arcata with just 9 sales, 8.3% of the market at $499,000. So if you want to know what your area is looking like compared with Humboldt's average, contact me at Hyperion Humboldt Realty for a full market analysis.
All right. Thank you so much, Annalise, for that breakdown of our local market. I found it interesting that average day on the market is still, in a lot of markets, still below 30. So median, right.
Yeah.
So median's still selling pretty quickly. So, those properties that are sitting longer kind of become at a disadvantage, or,
Absolutely.
in a buyer's eyes, right, they see that as opportunity.
Either we're going to lowball it,
Right.
or we don't even want to see it because there's clearly something wrong with it. So
Yeah.
you really got to price it well from the start.
Yep.
And definitely the median days on the market for the year to date versus the median or average days on the market for just one single month, they vary quite a bit. So just something to keep in mind when you're about to list your home. You're going to be looking at the immediate month previous, but also at what the year is trending. So that's a conversation to have with your realtor about strategy again. Just lots of aspects to consider.
It really becomes more strategic as the market's more balanced, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Yes, we're definitely having more in-depth conversations about various possibilities, scenarios. And like I mentioned, getting creative about possible concessions and talking to sellers about that ahead of time and preparing them for that.
And don't forget about your mortgage lenders. We see, a lot of contracts that have some creative ways of getting deals to close too. So, make sure you leverage all the people in your circle that are a part of that transaction.
And that's one of the reasons I brought up the buy down, the rate buy down, because
Yep.
I know for some buyers, getting that rate down is going to make a significant impact on their monthly payment. And that could make all the difference, as opposed to putting it towards closing costs or getting the seller to make a specific repair. That interest rate could be with you potentially for 30 years, which is a long time.
Yep.
So I think about buy down is a great conversation to have with your lender.
Absolutely. Yep. Always. And there's usually, there's always a cost benefit analysis. They can run that for you on where your break even is too. All right. Well, that's the month of October overall. Things kind of picking up a little bit of steam in the market, as they really have been for the last
Never,
couple months.
never boring.
Yeah, yeah, it's been an interesting last couple months for sure, and things getting busier a little bit for a lot of people out there. How about what's going on in the community, or you want to hit your listing of the month?
Oh, let me talk about my listing of the month
All
because
right,
it's
Annalise,
pretty great.
let's see the listing of the month.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite listings that I've had all year. It's 4755 Patricia Drive in Lombard Hills, Eureka. This is a 5-bed, 2.5-bath home, very spacious with 3,200 square feet, and it's on over half an acre, 0.59 acres. So plenty of room to roam. There's some redwood trees on the property, but really a nice flat backyard with a lawn as well for pets and play. There's a great view from the living room of the third and fourth greens at the municipal golf course. If you're a golfer, great location. If you're not a golfer, great views. Vaulted ceilings make it feel even more spacious. It's got an EV charger in the garage if you drive an EV, or if you have friends that come and visit you in their electric vehicles, they've got a place to charge. And there's also a natural gas generator in place for backup power if there's ever any outages. Beautiful home, lots of room to play, and yeah, it's just at 775 available now, and I'd be happy to show it to anyone if they give me a call.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good one, and one of the most desirable, neighborhoods in the Eureka area. So
One of the things my client loves about it is the privacy paired with the nature. He's got one window he calls the zoo window because he's always watching the deer and fox and bear trek along the trails there behind the house. And yeah, lots of privacy down a flag lot in Lombard Hills. It's a special spot.
sounds great. Thanks, Annalise.
Thank you for letting me share.
All right. Well, now what's going on in the world of Humboldt over the next month? It's an exciting month. Of course, we have Halloween at the end of the month coming up, so there's all the fun things that go along with that, such as Boo at the Zoo coming up October 26th. It's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Redwoodzoo.org for all the info. It's a really family-friendly event. You can get the kids dressed up. They do a little trick-or-treating thing, have some games set up. That's a great time for all the kids. And then there's a pumpkin patch with a corn maze at Green Spiral Farm. That's located at 819 Mad River Road in Arcata. It's open every day in the month of October, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So get the family out, get some pumpkin patch and corn maze time in. You can check out the animals at the zoo. Annalise, what do you have for us going on this month?
I mean, I have some Halloween festivities as well
All right.
that you didn't hit, and I'm kind of surprised. But there's the Haunted Halloween Candlelit Walk at Redwood National Park, the Haunted Kinetic Lab of Horrors, which is one of my absolute favorite Humboldt Halloween traditions, the Scare Grounds down in Ferndale, if you really like a jump scare. That one may not be as family friendly as some of the ones that you suggested, but it's still a great time. Oktoberfest, that's a mouthful. Oktoberfest at the zoo is this Saturday, October 11th. Bears and Brews, and that's to benefit the programs at the zoo. Kind of an Oktoberfest twist on that. Savage Henry Comedy Fest is also happening this weekend.
It's a good time. Yep.
And, we already missed it, but I think we should also mention that earlier in October is the Redwood Coast Music Festival. So next year we'll be sure to hit that. But yeah, I'd be curious what your favorite Humboldt Halloween traditions are. Share those with us in the comments.
And yeah, absolutely. It's a fun time of year. The pumpkin spiders come out and catch you in the face on your way out of the house.
Oh, when I'm getting in a lockbox at a listing, you gotta keep your eye out for all those pumpkin spiders. They kind of sneak up on you. Oh,
you have anything else for us?
No, that's all I've got this
All
month.
right.
But again, as always, I'm curious to know what you'd like to hear as our viewers and listeners, and make sure that we hit on those next month. So we'd love to hear from you.
And thank you again for joining us on the October edition of Redwood Real Estate Report. I am Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans.
And I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
And we'll see you again next month.